I never imagined that one sentence could change everything. But that's exactly what happened. When he said, "If you didn't need me, you'd be gone," I didn't stop to think. I didn't feel the weight of what he was really saying. I just smirked and replied, "Exactly." It felt empowering at the time, like I was finally saying out loud what I had been thinking for years. But now, that same sentence plays in my mind every single night, because now I need him, and he's gone. My name's Claire. I'm 35. For most of my marriage, I thought needing someone was a weakness. I took pride in being independent, in paying my own bills even before we got married, and in never asking for help. When I met Daniel, I convinced myself he was my partner, not my lifeline. He was steady, reliable, and calm in a way that made me feel safe. I mistook that safety for something permanent, something that would never fade away. Daniel needed me, but that was obvious from the start. He adjusted his life to fit around mine. My job, my moods, my plans. If I was tired, he would cancel things. If I was stressed, he was there, listening. If I snapped, he'd let it slide. I told myself that was just the way he was. Easygoing, secure, unaffected. What I didn't admit was that I liked being the one who was needed. It made me feel strong. The cracks in our relationship didn't start with an argument, they started with small things I ignored. The way he stopped telling me about his day. The way he asked questions but didn't seem to care about the answers. The silence that began to fill the space between us, replacing our usual conversations. I assumed he was content. I was wrong. The night everything came crashing down wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no slamming doors, just a quiet conversation that should have scared me more than it did. We sat at the kitchen table, the dishes untouched, the TV off. Daniel looked tired, not angry, not hurt, just exhausted. He asked, "Do you ever think about what would happen if I wasn't here?" I laughed. Because that's what I did when things felt uncomfortable. I made a joke about how I'd manage. How I always had. He nodded slowly, then said the one sentence that changed everything. "If you didn't need me, you'd be gone." I don't know why, but it felt like a challenge. Maybe he was accusing me, or maybe he was looking for reassurance I didn't know how to give. All I know is that I crossed my arms and said, "Exactly." The word hung in the air between us, heavy and final. He didn't react immediately. He just stared at me, really looked at me as if he was seeing me for the first time. Then he nodded, once, and said, "Okay." I should have been terrified. But instead, I felt a strange sense of relief, as if I'd won an argument I didn't even realize we were having. He stood up, rinsed his mug, and went to bed. No lecture, no guilt trip, no fight. The next morning, he was gone. Not just gone for the day, but gone. His clothes were missing from the closet. His toothbrush wasn't there. Even the extra charger he kept in his bag was gone. On the counter, there was just one envelope with my name on it. Inside, a note. "You were honest. I'm taking you at your word." That was all. At first, I was furious. How could he just leave? How could he take one conversation and turn it into the end of everything? I told myself he was being dramatic. He'd come back once things cooled off. I didn't call him for 2 days, thinking that the silence would bring him back, the way it always had. It didn't. By the 3rd day, my anger faded, replaced by something colder. The apartment felt wrong, too quiet, too empty. I realized I didn't know where he was, who he was with, or even if he was okay. I texted him at first casually, then with more urgency, then with complete desperation. No reply. That's when it hit me. Needing someone isn't about being dependent. It's about connection. And I'd confused the two for years. I started noticing all the little things he did that I never appreciated. The way he knew my schedule better than I did. The way he always made room for me without ever asking for anything in return. The way he loved me quietly, without conditions. Until he realized that love wasn't being returned. A week later, I ran into his sister at the grocery store. She seemed surprised to see me alone. I asked about him, trying to sound casual. She hesitated before saying, "He's okay." Lighter, actually. That word hurt more than any anger ever could. Now, months have passed. I still reach for my phone when something good or bad happens. Still expect him to be there when the world feels too heavy. The difference now is that I understand what I lost. I didn't lose him because I didn't need him. I lost him because I made him feel like he didn't matter. I thought independence made me powerful. I thought love meant never having to rely on anyone. I was wrong. Love isn't about proving you can leave, it's about choosing to stay and making the other person feel chosen. He needed to feel needed too.